Welcome to my Jen Lowry Writes channel. Guys, I'm so excited to share with you about the progress that is happening right now through ACX. My books are going to be available in audiobook. And as you can see, Audible, Amazon, and iTunes will have my books available. Now, I chose to go ACX after doing a lot of research and actually uploading one of my devotionals with Find Away Voices as another platform choice to determine no, Find Away Voices was not for me because they do not do royalty share. And I needed a place where I would be able to solely click royalty share as an option. Now, I researched this, watched YouTube videos from my top YouTubers, read information on the sites. So, like, for example, do you see learn about production costs, royalty rates? Their websites have so many tutorials and posts that you will be able to pretty much glean a lot of the basic information. But then I encourage you to go to YouTube, watch other YouTubers, and see what they're saying about the pros and the cons, those that have already used the platform. And at the end of the day, make a decision that is right for you. So I'm not saying that ACX is right for everybody. ACX was right for me. And I love the platform. It was so easy to upload a book, to just add a title in. And as you can see, I have 3 projects that have already kind of started. And I want to show you this because I think it's absolutely amazing. Oh, and if you want to do it yourself, Joanna Penn, she's got YouTube videos too. She's one of the authors and a podcaster that you can follow. But do you see how many voice actors you get to choose from? Now, that lets you know that out of 101,000 voice actors, I contacted and made offers to my first choice actors. And I received yeses so far on the books that I've already made offers on. I'm waiting on one more offer. It expires tomorrow. So if this person that I chose as my first choice declines, then I'll go back on and I'll look for more narrators because I've already made a list. Yes, in the notes section of my phone, and I had first choices for each book, and then I listed other possibilities down at the bottom that just different voices and the clarity and the sound of the digital quality that I liked. And I put them on a separate little place, just kind of like in a whole pool, where then I'd have to go through and listen again and pray over. But I'm just very thankful to the Lord that the Holy Spirit opened up the connections, and I have 3 already in line. So I want to show you how. So I'm not going to go through the how do you upload a title because there are YouTube videos on how to do that already. But I want to show you like this screen where it says browse narrators. So I haven't even looked for anybody for my poetry book yet. I don't know if I'm going to go that route. Because it's such a short book, it's such a short read. But this is where I have an open offer in right now. So I just want to show you. So you get all of these samples, right? And then you go through and you can pick. So we're going to start, and of course, I'm going to pick kids, fiction, and teens. And I'm going on to apply. And there's some romance in there, so I guess I could hit that. And it's religious. Okay. This is 2 more. Ta-da. Gender. I want a female. And usually you will go with your POV. Now for my Rapture Revolution, it's through the eyes of Samuel. So Samuel gets the male voice, but for the rest of my books, it's females. Okay. Language. English. Then the accent. Now this is fun because I needed a British accent for the Rapture Revolution. I chose General British for that. but I love American Southern because all of my books are pretty much written in the South. I have one series that I haven't offered up yet. It's going to be in South Carolina, but the rest of my books their settings are North Carolina. So, and the reason why I haven't offered up my next one is that it's in pre-order right now. But, oh, I got a great email. Sorry. Oh, that's cool. But definitely picking American Southern. Okay. And compensation is important. I didn't click this to start with, and then I went back in and clicked it. I'm doing royalty share. Now, the vocal style. This one is where it kind of gets a little tricky because I picked engaging, enthusiastic. I went through urban street for one of mine. I went youthful for one of mine. So let's just pick engaging and enthusiastic. So I did hip for one of mine. It's just according to the type of style that you want your voice actor to kind of emulate. Now, this is important. I read about young adult on here, and they're saying young adult is not to be considered the way we talk about young adult in the industry. That actually just means like 20s, 30s. So make sure you look at teenager. So I didn't know that at first, but then I read some articles about ACX, and then it was clarified. So I went back in and hit apply. And now I have 4. And it's probably because I chose a lot of these genders. So what happens if I take them all off? Then I get 6. Then what happens if I take tween off? I get 4. Do you see what ends up happening? Look, let's say I take teenager off, I get 112. And so to me, I would rather listen to a bunch because I'm going to tell you what I did. I went through each one of these and I clicked and I listened. And as I was clicking, I was praying and I was just going boom, boom, boom all the way across. And I'm like, okay. No, I couldn't. Kind of like her. And so then I had like a list. So when you go through, you have ways that you should come over here. You can take the accent off. Oh, my food is beeping. Or you can take the vocal style off. Now look what happens when you take off your specific. You see how you can now get 749? Now, here's what one of my author friends was telling me about the platform. And this is what they did. They did auditions, and they were doing the 15-minute auditions. They were sending out their samples, and then they wanted to hear from a multiple array of different voice actors to produce the work. And then they went through those, and then they had family members to listen. So I was actually enjoying this conversation that I was having with the author because they were kind of telling me their process, and they were telling me how difficult it was. And he was telling me that when he tried to find his voice actor, it was like him and his family piled around at the table, and they would just constantly keep clicking and talking it through. You can take the samples, you can send it to people that you know that love audiobooks. I would only send it to samples of people that do read audio, that's what their preference is, because they'll know to give you kind of like what they're used to hearing. But let's say you don't have people in your family or that you know in your circle that do listen to audiobooks. I've got another strategy for you. But before I get to that strategy on what you can do that's free and easy, I want to tell you what happened to me personally. So when I was looking for my people, I prayed about it, and I had my note station up on my phone. I put down my first choices, and I went in and I made an offer. So I'm going to show you okay, I'm not picking this person, but I'm just showing you what happens when you click on this person. It tells you who they are. They don't have a website. Now, some of the ones that I picked, they have websites that you can link, or you can go online. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find their personal websites and blogs. I cross-referenced mine after, not before. I let the Holy Spirit do it all. But you can see the about, if they have any credits, and look, coming soon. I like that positive energy. And so you can see that they've been in radio for a long time. They've done commercials. Look at that resume. So you can kind of get to have a quick feel about the producer. And you can either send a message to talk to them about it, to ask them to pick up your audition, and just you would like for them to read it so you could put them in your pool. Or you can go ahead, skip all of that, and you can make the offer. Or you can wait to make the offer later after they've done the audition for the role. So when I knew that my person sounded exactly like Lyric, like y'all, it's no joke. It hit my spirit. My Holy Spirit said, this is her. And I had to listen. I didn't do send message. I hit make offer. Like right away, I knew. Same way with Victoria and same way with Samuel Adams and Hamilton. I knew that that British voiceover actor was perfect for the role just by listening to one of his sample list out of a ton. And so when you go to, let's say you like, okay, so I'm going to give you a tip. Let's say you like a person, you heard them the first time, and you want to see what other samples they might have. Click on their name instead of just trying to keep searching. And then you look how many samples they have. Go through all of their samples and see how they change their voices. Because when you have different characters in your book, they're going to need to do that a little bit. So you kind of want to see what their tone sounds like. And so if I want to talk about the Ratchet Revolution really fast, oh my gosh, y'all. As soon as I heard his voice, I was like, fourth grade kids would love this. Like fourth grade boys and girls would just like lean into his voice. Do you know what I mean by just like that leaning in? And so I knew that he was perfect. And even though he was in production right now, and I'm going to have to wait on that one, it's worth it. So if you are on this site and you see in parentheses, let's say right here in parentheses, and it says production, that means that they're currently working on a project. But if you still want this person, you're just going to have to be patient, see what their schedule is like. Who knows? They might be able to do 2 in 1. But just, you can still message them and say, hey, I saw that you're in production right now. I really like the sound quality of your voice. It matches my character. What are your dates? What are you looking at? Maybe for picking up any new projects, because they even might have people in line and you don't know. So you could send them a message. But I went straight to make offers. So I'm waiting on I'm waiting on my boyfriend's back right now. So now I want to show you what you can do. You can go to books that you're reading now. So like, for example, if you look, I'm reading The Green Ember. The reason why I chose to read The Green Ember, I did a whole podcast on this and a blog, but it is ranked number 1, not in the Audible, but it's ranked number 1 bestseller in Christian action adventure. And so I wanted to check out that category. So I definitely went there. But I want you to see how Audible also has its own rankings. So that's really cool. And it's going to take 7 hours and 55 minutes to listen to this audiobook if I choose to get it. And look at what happens over here. Because I already own it, I just got the Kindle edition, I can add it, the Audible. That's a kind of a cool option that you can do. But look, I already have the Kindle version. So you can listen, and you can tell I've already listened to it. And so then you ask yourself, what is it that S.D. Smith, kind of try to put yourself in the mind of the author, that drew him to that voice? And you think of sound quality, you think of clarity, you think of expression, their digital equipment. Like, you couldn't have me do yours because you can hear all of my house noise. You can hear the air conditioner going. There's an echo always on my things. I have bunches of kids in the house, so there's no way I could ever do audio in my house. So, you got to think about all of those things, and you'll pick up on that. Trust me, when you're listening to these sample tracks on ACX, you can pick up on a lot of that, but you also allow your spirit to be moved when you listen to voices. You've had your characters in your head for a really long time. The minute that you hear them, you'll know. That's like I tell Solomon, like when we were doing college tours, I would be like, okay, you're going to get on a campus, you're going to walk around, you're going to fill it out, you're going to experience it on this tour, on this admissions tour. I mean, you're going to know. You'll just have this feeling that it should be one of your top 5. It's the same way, trust me, guys, on ACX. And I know you can say, oh my gosh, there's 100,000 to choose from. I'm going to get lost. The Holy Spirit is not going to allow you to be lost. You are going to be found, and you will find your narrator. So continue to be in prayer about it. Because as soon as I heard that sweet voice, I said, that's Lyric. That's her. That was before I even went to the other samples, the other 2 samples on the page. There was 3 samples from Lyric, but it was her. And so then once you get that step, it's so easy on ACX. They show you exactly how to take your book cover and turn it into an audiobook cover. So you see it has to now be in a new shape. You do not have to contact anybody to do it. You do it yourself in Paint, but you also have to have read by. So I went in and I did a read by, and I put my people, and I went ahead and sent it out on ACX for approval. Now I want to show you Stuart Little. So I've already listened to Stuart Little. E.B. White is one of my favorite authors of all time. So and then you say, well, why did E.B. White go there, right? And if you pull it up, Julie Harris is the narrator. And as you know, Stuart Little is a male character, but they still went with that one. Now I'm pulling Julie Harris up, and this is who I'm finding. So Julie Harris is actually an actress, it looks like. How cool is that? And she has a great voice. She just has a wonderful tone to her voice. And it sounds like something that I could curl up into bed and I could listen to this audiobook before I go to sleep, and I can have my read aloud with my family or something like that in the car. So I look at things like that. Now, after you do that, then you jump over to Canva and you can make your images. Audiobook coming soon. So that means that Lyric Harper and the Hartwell Chronicles is going to be published around Victoria's birthday. So I've asked for both of those contracts to be finished by September the 13th, which is, of course, Friday the 13th, the day the Hartwell Chronicles comes out. So both would be available on audio. And that's really important for me for accessibility. I want all students and readers to be able to access my books. And you guys know from the past 20 years, I'm a teacher. My master's degree is in special education. I have a heart for students with disabilities and unique learning needs. And having an audiobook has always been a dream for me, because then that opens the door to that book for that child when they may have not picked it up on their own. And so I'm in prayer right now for my voice actors, for my producers of my book. They call them producers. I am in prayer over each one that their voice can be an instrument for the Lord, and that their voice can shine through these books to get to the heart of the story and to captivate readers, young and old, who might just like a good clean read. I know I love YA clean reads. I love MG clean reads and children's lit. So I'm talking from a 44-year-old perspective here. But I will say that I just feel extremely blessed to have an opportunity to work with ACX. I love the platform so far. I can't wait to see how it progresses. On Sunday, I get my first 15 minutes of my projects. So I get to actually hear the narrator's interpretation and their artistic, ability going into the book. And that's when, after you do the first 15 minutes, I've done a lot of research on this, like what's the next steps. That's where you provide any types of director type notes where you give them feedback, you give them the exact times, you let them know they're on the right track or they might need to adjust some things. And so you pick up your book and you read along with those 15 minutes too. You do a listening check, you do a read and listen check, and you kind of get the feel of it. And then you make any types of feedback notes that you can to make sure that the rest of the book goes, according to plan. And I'm looking forward to that on Sunday. So I hope that this has been a helpful video to you guys about some strategies that you can do, some promotional places that you can go, and all my images, I got, you can tell I got right there. And then look, with my Pinterest, you see my Pinterest button? You see how I can just save to Pinterest, like right from here? Oh, but it only saved that. I don't want that. But I can also, look at here, put it to all these places. And then I can save it to Pinterest, publish or design straight to Pinterest and all of my other places. So I love making my promotional materials from Canva. And for lyrics, I think I love hers. It just looks just so pretty. I just can't wait for you guys to meet my characters. And lyric is already out in paperback and ebook. And the Hartwell Chronicles, as all of you guys know, because I've talked it up enough, is coming out September the 13th, 2019 on Friday the 13th. This is my first YA horror paranormal. I loved living in this book. As scary as it was, I loved it so much. And I am going to be a champion for Victoria and Tyler forever. All right, guys, I hope that you've taken away some tips and strategies, and I have convinced you that you need to now turn your books into audio, whether it's with ACX or Findaway Voices or other platforms out there that are helping authors to transition their books over to alternate formats. Research them, look them up. Find out what's best for you, your budget, and what you can do, and learn from other authors out there. Many authors told me, hey, you need to just go ACX, but you need to pay up front. Well, I couldn't do that. My ability to do that is not there. So I knew that wouldn't work for me. So I wanted to do the royalty share. I feel really positive about the royalty share for my life. But look at the pros and cons and always be aware that there's always people out there that will give you great insight and great ideas and opinions and research. But you also have to go with the Holy Spirit and do what's best for you as the author at the end of the day. All right, guys, thanks for joining me on Jen Lowry Writes. If you have not subscribed yet, subscribe, share this out with the world, hit that bell so you don't miss any episodes, and I will be seeing you guys later.